Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's summer is going very well and you are ready to get started on today's project. This is going to be our backyard version of Found and Foraged Sounds. We're going to have a studio assistant join us for some special maracas. But while we're waiting for her to get here, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about exactly what we're doing and how this summer looks, and then how it's going to roll into the fall. So this is kind of like an informal live stream, giving you information about what Project S.M.A.R.T Studios Making Art and Reproduction Textiles is going to be doing this summer and this fall. So we have a short program project for this fall, and well, for the summer, and then for the fall we're going to have a 2-month program that's going to span from October to November. So what we're doing is we're making our samples that we're going to reproduce in another material in the fall this summer, and we're including found and foraged sounds because we're exploring how textiles incorporated with musical instruments produce different sounds. So, for example, how you have felt on drumming sticks as opposed to just the sticks itself. So this summer we're going to be talking about like natural forged objects. Like, for example, if you had those sticks and you clanked them together, how it's going to be different than if you put the felt on the sticks and drum the drums. We're going to start out with maracas because this spring we had the opportunity to forage and actually plant and grow some flaxseed, which is going to be turned into linen. And in those flaxseed pods, in the flax plant pods, the seeds grow, and they actually sound like maracas. So I'm going to give you a little example of that. So if you can hear it, you may see some of this. We kind of put it on Instagram to give you an idea of really where you can hear. So you hear this rattling sound. So we're guessing that in our scientific mind that someone heard these flax seeds kind of blowing in the wind, and they said, hey, that sounds like maracas. I don't know if that's true, but that's my guess. That's my hypothesis. Salma's here, so I'm going to bring her into the studio. Hey, Salma.
Hi.
Hi. So
I'm doing the sunflower seeds.
You're putting the sunflower seeds in the birdhouse?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So what we're doing is we're modifying, okay, for summer, and we're coming back from the spring. Salma helped me plant these flax plants, and we got this. And I let you guys hear the sound that we found and foraged from these flax plant seed pods. So taking that a step further, what we wanted to do is say, how can we create another sound? And so we came up with the idea to make birdhouse maracas. And that's what Sound is leading. She's making the birdhouse maracas. And to create that same kind of shaking, rattling sound, she's putting sunflower seeds in the birdhouse. Can you shake the birdhouse to kind of see how there you go. All right, so you got that sound. So she's got like shakers going on. Same thing as maracas. And what I'm going to be working on is I'm working on glass. And I put my sunflower seeds in a glass jar. So one of the things we're connecting is how textiles and musical instruments share common materials. And a lot of instruments are made out of metals, glass, wood, plastic. And so that is how we're going to put this project together. So we have 2 Saturday workshops. We have today that we're doing, and then we also have next Saturday. And then we're going to go into a short program in July. We're going to come up with our own found and forged object. So this is just to get us started. So what we're doing also is adding in the art component of it, because we're going to be doing surface design when we get into the fall. So right now we're doing paper mache. How we're going to be decorating our maracas, we're going to be using paper mache. And so Salma is using glue. And what I did for those out there who want to create their own glue, come up with their own recipe, and make their instrument by hand, is you can make your own glue paste out of flour. So I put some flour in here, and they say you add flour, water, and a pinch of salt. I put some Himalayan pink salt sauce in here, because the color I'm going to add, because you can add color to your glue, is some tea. So I'm going to pop down and pop back up while you watch Salma show the paper mache process. So the process to put the paper mache on your object is to dip it in the glue and then cover up the surface area with paper. So if that's wood, if that's glass, if that's metal, you're gonna paper mache around that. And the reason we're doing that is because paper also creates a different sound than an open air instrument. So we use the birdhouse as an example, because the birdhouse has a little opening hole where the birds go in and out. So what we're doing is we put the sunflower seeds where the birds would be going in and out of their house, and we're going to paper mache around that, because the sound you're going to get when you use it as a maraca is going to be a little bit different. Plus the seeds aren't going to pop out. So I'm going to let you watch Selma show how to paper mache, and I'm going to add some color into my glue. Okay, and so for you really crafty people, what I am using hibiscus tea that has a natural red color, and I'm dipping my paper into the tea and adding it to the glue to kind of create a color. What Salma's going to do is, because she's working with wooden paper, she is going to paint her her maraca after she's done. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the natural color dye, dipping it into the paper, because I'm working on a glass surface. Okay. How's it going over there, Salma? Pretty good? So Selma is Solano County super reader. She is a super reader this summer, and she has a sign in the front of her house. Don't you? Do you like reading, Selma? You're a good reader too. Selma's been helping since the spring, and she got her Project S.M.A.R.T certificate. It has been great. She's helped us do the slow stitch on leaves, helped us prepare the forged and found sound activity. So, there's a little frustration there. What's going on? Is it a little hard to do?
This glue, I need a glue stick.
Oh, you literally need a glue stick? That might be. Maybe did you put some glue on the inside of the paper? Did you try putting some glue on the inside of the paper like this?
You want a brush? You want to brush the glue on?
Yeah, there you go. Stick your finger in there. Put it on this way and see if it sticks a little better.
Yeah.
That might work. Good problem solving. So if anyone else is having that problem where they literally need a glue stick. You know, that's possible. I'm not saying you can't add a glue stick on there. You can. But you can also maybe try putting the glue on both sides of the paper so that it sticks a little bit better. We're using our fingers. We're not using paintbrushes yet because that's what we're going to do when we're ready to decorate. So I am working with glass, and I'm putting my paper on the outside of the glass. You see this? It's almost the same thing that you're doing, Salma, but you're working on wood. So how's that going? You got both of them on there. You covered up the bird hole, right? So I've got stoppers. So I think the foundation for just about like any instrument, there has to be some kind of circulation of air because you have to get the vibration. So I have, let's see. I have a plug to put in right here. So where some of paper mache over the hole in the birdhouse, I just have a little plug here that I'm going to use, and that's going to be my extension to keep my seeds in my maraca. So I'm going to keep putting these on.
Where's Camille going?
I'm right here. I'm popping down and
popping. This.
Oh, you want to wipe your hands? All right. We'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So, I'm adding some more paper onto mine. And there is a dry time for this. So that's why we're going to just get the foundation done. You're going to put the paper, you're going to paper mache the paper onto whatever object you're going to be using. And then fill it with whatever material you're going to use, such as a seed or rice. Something interesting that I tried to see if there was a difference in sound from rice, I used couscous. So couscous has a different sound than actually rice has. So for those of you out there who are trying to use rice, you could do that as well. You could use seeds, and I'm sure that the sunflower seeds in the shell is going to give you a different sound against the wood than the sunflower seeds if you use them in the glass. So I'm going to finish working on this. And just to give a little bit more background, if you've watched any of our other live streams. We work with different after school programs and individuals, and we walk through the process. So you kind of see what we're doing. The idea is to give you an idea. So you can complete your own project, and then we look for you to post the projects that you've done. We also have an art show that we usually display some of the kids' works. And there you go, Salma. That's really good. Okay, so I'm almost finishing mine.
I'm ready to decorate it.
Oh, yeah.
Decorate it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're gonna paint it? Well, first before you decorate it, can you see if you hear some sound out of it when you shake it?
Shake it harder.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what you want. That's what a maraca sounds like.
That's good.
Very good. So that's a different hand motion. So shakers you usually rattle from the top like that. That's a really good way to shake your maracas. Then you can shake your maracas like this. So now what we're gonna do is we've gone through the paper mache process. We have learned how, if you don't have glue, how to make your own glue. And if you don't, Seed to Fiber is our host. So at the Seed to Fiber website, we'll have instructions. I'm going to add in some more of the banners so you can get an idea of what we're doing. And if you're just coming into the live stream or you're not catching it from the beginning, you're just kind of looking for some words to explain what we're doing. That's a good way to put the flower around there, because that's going to catch the paint. Are you going to put paint on there, Salma?
Yeah.
Yes. So something else that you could do is you can soak your paper before you actually start to paper mache, or you can work with dry paper if you're going to add extra onto it. Kind of like Salma's getting really creative over there. And she's going to have a good paste because she used the glue. She's putting some flour on there. So she's got her own little recipe going. So, Salma, I'm going to put your banner up so everyone knows what you're doing. And I'm just, again, going to read it. Our featured maraca is a birdhouse maraca. And that is what Salma is working on. And we will be reproducing that. I'm hearing all these bird whistling, and I'm starting to whistle like the birds. We will be reproducing that birdhouse, maraca birdhouse, in the fall using gourds. So I can read my own ticker tapes. All right. I can't hear you, Selma.
Go ahead.
I watch Tinker.
You watch what?
Tinker.
Really?
I love Tinker.
What is that about?
It's about the fairies.
The fairies. Oh, very nice. So if anybody is listening and watching and working along with us, I have comments. I've posted comments where you can post your project a little bit later. Now you get the gist of it. If you didn't start making it when we started, that's okay. You can go ahead and start and then meet back up with us next Saturday.
Look, Mom.
Wow.
That looks good.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a tent
It does look like a tent.
with stars on it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about how you're going to paint it?
Yeah, what color?
I like purple.
Okay. All right. here's kind of, this is what I'm working on, Selma. I'm doing the glass bottle, and I wet my paper and I wrapped it around, and I'm about to put the glue on the outside of it now. After I do this, I have one more maraca to do. So we also like to do these activities in real time, because a lot of times you'll watch a demonstration or you'll see a quick version of how to put something together, and there might be like something that you missed, or a question that you want to ask, or something that you want to try, or something that you need more visuals for. So that's why we do the live streams, because it's very helpful to work through the creative process. Because if you don't go through the creative process, then you don't know the new things that you're adding in there. You're kind of just doing what everybody is showing you how to do rather than doing it yourself. So Salma's over there putting the flour, adding the glue. She's got a lot of things going on, and all I'm doing is I just wet my paper and I wrapped it around the glass bottle. I'm getting ready to do my second one. And then after I do that, I will add my sunflower seeds so you can see before, if anyone is working with
Put it in a pile.
wood or glass that has a hole in it.
There you go. You can put more glue on here if you want. Wrap the wood inside.
Okay, and also we're gonna have the recipe and instructions at the Seed to Fiber online art room. So I've got the ticker tape going down there for that, and I'll keep that going. I haven't put that up there yet, but I'll have it up there by Monday. So again, this is meant to be fun, creative, to engage you in the creative process, to feature our fall project from our studio assistant named Selma, who is making the birdhouse maracas, which we are going to be reproducing from using gourds in the fall. So we also use this time to get our samples together, to work with different materials, to figure out which materials we like the most. I'm going to get some more paper mache. So if you know how to make a maraca, then you have an edge up. If you know how to make a maraca but don't know how to paper mache, then you've engaged with us in the creative process, because we're making maracas and paper mache. Okay. Oh, I can't hear you, Selma.
Watching something.
She's watching something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you think it's dry enough for you to try to decorate it, Selma?
I think it's dry.
Or do you wanna let it dry?
It is dry.
It is dry. Do you think so? Try shaking them again and see if any of the paper falls off.
It did it.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is, if you want to decorate it, if you want to stay in the studio and decorate it, you can, or you can meet back up with us next Saturday, and or just send us a picture. Take your time to decorate it so you don't have to rush. I'm gonna leave that up to you. What do you think you want to do? You want to spend some more time? Keep doing it? Okay, very good. And I'm going to keep doing this too. So I've almost got both of mine's covered. So this just really gives you an idea of how much time it takes to kind of put all of this together. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I've got this covered. I'm going to add my sunflower seeds. You already put yours in, right?
Yeah. After I go clean my hands.
Okay. And I have little corks that would be the extended handle. So my next part is probably what I'm thinking of doing is extending this with some wood pieces, or I can just leave them like this. Okay. So everyone should be able to hear that. All right, so the last part is the bottom. You could leave it open if you want to know what's inside. Some people, they can listen and they can hear if it's a bean, if it's a seed, if it's rocks. But for the listening experience, I'm going to cover this up. And if you didn't get a chance, you can go to the S.M.A.R.T Creative mobile unit page, and there is a bingo sheet. It's sound bingo. So you have something else to do to get you into the spirit of creating a musical instrument.
My other things.
Oh.
Those are your other things?
Yeah, I was wearing them through the whole class.
Really?
So I changed.
Oh, so you changed your outfit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's what you need to do if you're going to play those maracas when we finish this up, because everybody's going to have an opportunity to also play their instrument.
Ooh.
So, have you thought about that? What can you put a sound like, say for example, Salma? Can you?
Summer.
That's what I said, Salma. Can you shake your maracas in a rhythm?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very good. What do you think it would sound like if you had music going?
Let it go.
Let the music go and let the maracas shake, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to be open for comments and questions for the next week, because the way this goes is it's kind of an ongoing thing. So the live streams, we have live
I'm
a couple
going.
times a year. Well, a few times
Oh,
a year,
okay.
whatever the project is. And then we connect it to a museum project. This year, we're connecting with nature centers. So all our projects, all our found and foraged sounds are connecting with nature centers, outdoor activities, found art object opportunity. So you have garage sales, you have thrift stores, you have donations, you have a lot of things that you can actually make a found sound instrument out of, which is kind of what these objects are. We're going to actually handcraft in the fall. So again, I've put up our featured maraca. This is the maraca that Salma is making. She's making the birdhouse maraca. We're going to reproduce that in the fall using a gourd. And today we are making maracas using the paper mache style to decorate our maraca. And we're going to do surface design because we're going to be working with an actual gourd in the fall. So we want you to have these hands-on skills so that in our creative process, it's less direction and less instruction and more chiming in on how everybody is creating their instrument, their musical instrument, and also kind of like getting feedback on some of the materials that we could use instead of a material that we used before. Paper, like I said, is really easy to start out with. And in paper mache, you've got once it dries, you can paint it. You can use different inks on it. When we actually work with the gourd, it's going to be a little bit different. You can paint on it, you can use inks, but there's going to be a little bit more
I
art.
want to do this tomorrow.
You're going to finish it up tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to work on it some more today?
Mm-hmm.
So Salma is moving on to step 2, where she's actually painting. So once you paper mache, you have 2 options. You can color your paper before you mache it, or you can paint on it after it's dried. Okay, so I'm getting fancy back here. You can't see my little work area, but what I've done is I have used natural tea, hibiscus, and I put some of my paper, soak some of my paper in it, mached it to my glass, and then I dip my maraca, and I'm gonna leave it in my dye to make it pink. Now, what Salma is doing is she's using paint because she is working with wood and I'm working with glass. Her birdhouse maraca is the featured maraca that we're going to be reproducing in the fall. So the painting is going to be what we're going to be, the technique, the art technique that we're going to be using. You can't really dye gourds. So we want to make sure that if we get anything from this, that we're working on our art skills and that we learn a little bit about surface design. We're picking our favorite colors and some things that inspire us because that's how we're going to then begin to design our maraca. And if anyone is just starting and they're like, what do we need? What do we need? If you have just 2 little plastic, you could even use plastic bottles. Um, Earlier, I was working with glass. Sama's working with wood. Plastic bottles work. Plastic creates a sound even without the seeds in there. Let's see, I'm going to put the seeds in there and see what kind of sound the seeds make with the plastic. Let's see. So what you're also doing today is you're testing out what sounds you want to hear, what object is easy for you to maraca, and so I'm guessing maraca, they have just maracas, the instruments, but there are people that dance with maracas. There's people that use maracas to set the rhythm and sound. So you want to use whatever object um, fits into your movement when you're using these. So I would say with cylinder plastic, you go something like this. Selma has the birdhouse shaker, so she's using the handles to shake this way. So I'm going to be very interested to see what everyone comes up with towards the end of this, well, the middle of the summer, because we're going to wrap the project up in July and then meet back up again in October. So you have some time to think about it, work through the creative process, learn a little bit about the instruments. Where for the technical part of this, the maraca comes from the idiophone musical instrument, and they're usually instruments that are not using certain materials. They are more handcrafted, and they use a lot of seeds and natural objects to create sound. So I thought that would be a really good introduction if you are not familiar with musical instruments, or you're just learning and you're trying to create the connection of how textiles even really works into this, and what's the idea of using art to bring all of this together, because you're listening for sound, you're not listening for what the instrument looks like. But a lot of times we don't take into account that the sound that creates or comes from the instrument is made from these natural objects, these natural materials like wood or glass or metal. So how you doing over there, Selma?
Good.
Good. Okay, I'm gonna see how my maraca is looking. All right. So the pink, you can see the pink starting to take color. So you'll probably only be able to use a natural color dye with the wood and with the paper mache. So if you're interested, again, the recipe will be on the Seed to Fiber Art Room website. I'll actually throw in some information about the natural color dyes too, for paper mache, because most people usually paint over paper mache, or they will add the color or the paint into the glue to make it more pasty. But there's a lot of different ways to approach your paper mache project, and there's a lot of different ideas you can get to create the design for your maraca, like Selma just did. Very good. Good job,
I'm
Selma.
all done.
You're all done. Okay, well, thank you for being our studio assistant and leading the Birdhouse Maraca project. And we're going to be doing this again, like I said, in the fall. This is really important. You did a great job. Thank you.
I can do a good job.
Well, you don't think you did a good job?
I did, but I don't know why. I didn't know how to do the coloring. I
Well,
usually color on paper.
right. So that's why you did something a little different. You usually color on paper, but this time you glued the paper onto something and you colored it. So you learned a little different process, which was the paper mache. That's why you didn't color on paper, because you paper macheed
Hey, get in the camera.
it.
I gotta go see Bloomberg.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Selma's parents. Thank you, David. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So, anyone that's just joining us, we just had Selma work through the creative process for the birdhouse maracas, which we are going to be doing in the fall, and we're going to be using gourds. So it'd be to your advantage to kind of look back through this live stream and see what she was doing. And then also for anyone who is working with glass, which I did today, and wants to do natural color dyes, I used a glass bottle and I used some hibiscus tea, and I soaked my paper in the hibiscus tea for the paper mache. And so I'm going to have pink paper mache maracas um, for my final maraca project. And again, if you're interested in creating your own glue, it is flour and a dash of salt. I'll have the recipe on the Seed to Fiber Art Room website, along with the instructions for paper mache. And then today we used sunflower seeds. If you're using plastic, that sounds really good with them too. You get a really good sound. Like I said, in the glass, you have a more muddled sound because it has the paper around it. And then our inspiration was the Foraged Sound from the flaxseed pods. Um, you hear the birds more in the background, but you can hear this. Um, so when we connect back with our fall project, we'll be reflecting on linen and gourds and natural sounds. So we're going to make this broadcast a little short today. Um, so if you want to connect with more of our live stream activities and learn more about the process, the materials, how we demonstrated them, how we came about with the idea, and how it's good for your program or activity, or if you're just sitting around the house thinking, hey, I want to do something or try something new, be sure to check in with M.S.T.A.R.T Creative. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and we're located, our headquarters is in Savannah, Georgia, but we travel across the U.S. and we connect with different nature centers, museums, programs, projects, and workshops to reproduce our own individual and original art. We start out with the art technique. We start out with a textile we like. We start out with exhibits. We start out with ideas. So we're open to any form of art, and then we reproduce our own version using a different material. If you have any questions, you can go to mstarartscreative.org. That's www.mstarartscreative.org. We have an About Us page. You can contact me. We have our phone number listed on there, and we hope to see you again. Thank you.